In China, you can buy a Ford Mustang Mach-E for only $40,000 US. Now, considering that comes with a pretty big battery pack, 78 kilowatt hour pack for only $40,000 US, you would think that this literal bargain of an SUV electric car would be flying off the shelves. But something funny is going on. Ford, it appears, is getting a little bit desperate. And welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back. Everyone else, great to have you here. Hope you've had an amazing week, an amazing day. The Mustang Mach-E, I personally quite like it. There's been a lot of criticism of the Mach-E. It's heavy. It has relatively poor efficiency because it's heavy. And that's fair. That's a fair point. I don't disagree with that, but I do like it. I still think for the price, it's actually a really good value electric car or electric SUV. And in fact, its interior, it's quite big. It's quite a big vehicle. However, it's worth looking at sales of vehicles in markets where the market's saturated. So for example, Norway is saturated with EVs. China is fairly saturated with EVs. In other words, there's lots of choice in both of those countries. There's a lot more choice though in China than there is in Norway. So really, China gives us the best indication of how electric vehicles will go, how they'll go over the next 10 years, how companies will be able to compete for buyer demand. Ford listed its electric vehicle delivery numbers for March this year in China. It delivered about 950 Mustang Mach-E's in March of this year, and it blamed BYD. It said it was BYD's fault because BYD wasn't supplying Ford with enough battery packs for them to make more electric cars. It also kind of probably should accept some responsibility itself. What originally happened was, in China, quite a few people placed orders for the Mach-E, but it took Ford so long to get the vehicle to market that the majority of those buyers actually ended up cancelling their orders and buying Tesla Model Ys. In fact, they actually changed the name of the group to a Tesla fan group instead of the Mach-E fan group because it just took Ford a long time to get the car to market. The same thing is happening in Australia. Well, we don't have our fan groups here changing their names, but Ford are finally going to deliver Mustang Mach-E's here in Australia, probably within maybe 6 months, it looks like. They're coming to New Zealand as well. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for lots of people. There's a lot of Ford fans here in Australia. There's a lot of Ford fans in New Zealand who would love to buy a Mustang Mach-E, and I'm sure they will when they arrive, as long as they're not too expensive. But getting back to China, Ford no longer is releasing sales numbers for its Mach-E in China since March of this year. And I don't know why that is, but it just seems unusual. And a report came out today, which was a little bit alarming. It's alarming because it seems like there is a very, very big issue for Ford in China. Now let's start with what the biggest issue is for Ford in China. In 2014, Ford delivered 801,603. The following year, 2015, Ford delivered 870,000. Then the following year, 951,000. Nearly 1 million vehicles in China. In 2017, in a bigger auto market, Ford's deliveries went down, but they still hit a really good number of 840,000. However, by the time 2021 came around, their figures had hit 248,000. Only about a quarter of where they were at in 2016. So within 5 years, Ford's sales in China went down by an enormous percentage. Their market share went down from 4.4% to 1.1%. Now, Ford obviously wants to reverse this trend in China with the Mach-E, and it's a pretty good car, but there's a huge amount of competition. As a result, Ford is now, it's doing something that customers want it to do. It's sort of being forced to do this. Social media, people are complaining that Ford's Mustang Mach-E doesn't have the latest Qualcomm 8155 chip. People compare EVs, they compare cars based on who's got the latest chip, the best chips in those cars. Ford is offering Mustang Mach-E owners free Qualcomm 8155 chip upgrades in China, but there's a catch. It's doing something similar to what Tesla did about 10 years ago when Tesla was trying to sell $100,000 electric vehicles. And, selling those cars for that price was difficult. Electric vehicle adoption was still in its infancy. People didn't fully understand electric cars. A lot of people said they were just golf carts and they just were a joke. So Tesla had to try and do different marketing strategies to try to get people to buy their cars. Right now, a number of car companies in China are offering owners a free upgrade to Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8155 chip. Ford, on the other hand, has come up with a way to get more sales, and it sparked a bit of controversy. Ford announced on the opening day of the Chengdu Auto Show, according to CNEVPost.com, on the 26th of August that it will upgrade the cockpit chip to Snapdragon 8155 for Mustang Mach-E consumers for free if they do a bunch of stuff for Ford. And this applies to current owners and future owners as well. So basically, if you come in and you want to buy Mach-E, Ford will say, we'll only upgrade this car to the standard for you if you... So you got to get 5 friends to all sign up for a membership for Ford's app in China. And you have to get one of those friends to come in for a test drive of the Mustang Mach-E. Now, people probably will do this because the older Qualcomm Snapdragon 820A chip is, well, it's pretty average compared to the new one. Apparently, the new one has 3 times more CPU computing power and 5 times more GPU computing power. At least that's what Ford says anyway. Now, a lot of people are saying in China that Ford must be desperate for sales. That's what social media is saying. That's what Weibo is saying. People are saying, why is Ford doing this? Why are they trying to force you to get 5 people to install and become members on the Ford app and then get someone to come in for a test drive if they were selling these cars? And I've got to ask the same question to Ford. What's going on, Ford? In China, why are you struggling to sell the Mach-E? I think it's pretty clear they're struggling to sell it. I mean, otherwise, why on earth would they be doing this? You don't need to do this. Don't need to do this at all if you have enough demand for the Mustang Mach-E. Now, it's worth pointing out, new owners have to do this as well. So all these new owners that sign up for the app, right, become a member or go for a test drive, if they do eventually buy one, they've got to then go and do the same things with all their other friends, right, in order to actually get the new chip in their brand new car. To me, I don't know, this seems a little bit desperate. Now, while I'm stoked that Ford is bringing this vehicle to Australia and New Zealand, I'm a little bit sort of questioning what's going on in China. Why is demand struggling? Why are people not buying this car? It's $40,000 US for a car this big. I mean, it's even bigger than a Tesla Model Y. This is a big car. It's a good price. Why are people not buying it? I'm curious. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think you know what I think. I think that in a saturated market, there's simply better options available. And the question is, will that happen in other countries by the time Ford brings the Mach-E to markets where they're not already? Or alternatively, by the time Ford actually starts to seriously ramp up deliveries of the Mach-E? Yes, could it happen? Absolutely. I mean, honestly, there are lots of really good electric cars on the market right now. Personally, if I had to choose between the Mach-E and, say, for example, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, I definitely would choose the Ioniq 5. I simply think it's the better car, and I think most people would agree with that. Not everyone, but most people would agree. It seems as though in China, well, everyone agrees. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.